Welcome into the final week of the season, so week 6, round 1, season 22. We got kill shot this time. I already went and dropped 3. One of them was probably avoidable. The other one I need to ponder on a bit, but we'll look at these together. So, stage 1 is this kind of interesting hybrid of Mephisto, Sus, Breaker, Rachel, and Black Knight. I mean, Rachel at this point is a staple for Please Don't Fury Cheese Me, so she's going to show up a lot. Also, there's a lot of diamonds on this account. And this is where we ran into some trouble because this Daring Warrior, this is the biggest one I've ever seen. So they're all 5 diamonds except for Jessica, and they're all fortifier, so they have extra HP and barrier and all that stuff. So this is insane. Then we go into a Phoenix Force comp with Shadow King and Songbird. Bad ISO here though, and also bad placement theoretically, because if you pull in Professor X, we're also ability block Shadow King. So yeah, the placement here and ISOs need to get adjusted to make this a little trickier. Room 4, a weird and eyeless comp, and there's always something to be said for running unusual compositions. This one, whoops, I should stop thinking. This one caught me by surprise for a weird reason, and this is where I think I could have not dropped an attack. But we'll talk about that. Full symbiotes with a it's a pretty big team overall and a small Quicksilver. This, starting tomorrow will be trickier. And then finally, new mutants with Executioner. So yeah, let's see what bamboozled me. Alright, so stage 1, this was the funky comp. This is an interesting composition, but it's also fairly easy to get around. Now I kind of overkilled it a little bit, because I had Mephisto spare, but yeah, let's see how it goes and what the logic was behind this. So the key thing, well, I guess let's start from the top. So Old Man Logan is here because he's just a good character, but also, well, I mean, I screwed this part up, which is a common mistake. I was like, well, will prevent the charges from Black Knight, so take less damage. But Mephisto's chargeable, so he's always the one that's going to get prevented. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much. This is just, farming for a little bit more efficiency. But anyway, yeah, so Old Man Logan was here just because he's good, and I thought I was stopping Black Knight charges, but I'm a bit silly here, and I forgot about this. Sentry is here to stop Mephisto speed. Black Knight is here because, and I generally like Sentry and Sentry and Black Knight against a Super Skrull because Sentry's speed bar stop goes away after he takes a turn, or on his turn, basically. So if you do the special, which does a bunch of buffs and debuffs, and Sus is alive on the other side, he's actually getting fed a bunch of speed bars. So yeah, Sugar cannot be filled, blah, blah, blah. So the minute he takes his turn, it's all on the table. So I like to bring Black Knight in to keep this guy in check, because the minute he goes, Sus will then probably go, and he'll hit into Black Knight and on my Logan and then just die, plus he gives me speed bar. So this is kind of my security against Sus as well. Breaker's the only one that I'm worried about here because you just can't stop him. You have to kill him, otherwise on his turn he will special no matter what. So, but anyway, let's see how this goes. So I do the empowered basic here just because I want to get off of this Black Knight fast. A normal basic and plus assist, and then yeah, Dark Star Shield just for the pings for the extra damage. I decide to stun Mephisto. Because there's a trauma out, the stun will stick to him. And then I just, let's just say I all in Breaker here just in case I somehow kill him. But that's not happening. So he does get to take a turn, and he removes all his buffs. But I'm never at risk of really losing anyone here because I've got the Mephisto BFE, I've got a bunch of barrier, I've got 3 death proofs. Revive doesn't matter because Mephisto's here. But anyway, I'm guaranteed to not die. And as you can see, this guy, I mean, he still does a ton of damage to my team, but I make most of it back. And then with the ultimate from Darkstar, she kills Rachel, I get an assist, a little bit more health back, and then another ping, and it's done. So fairly efficient attack. I call this slight overkill because I'm using two big tools against it. So Sentry and Mephisto. You know, if I'm bringing two of these, then this cost me two tools, but I also didn't really need them anywhere else. Although now that I'm saying that, I am wondering if I could have done something different in this next attack. So let's move on there. So stage 2. This is where we ran into trouble. This is purely, well, a little bit of bad RNG and just the sheer size of this team. This is basically a 20 million Daring Warriors. The only way they could be bigger is the 1 diamond on Jessica. So the problem here is that normally this is fine, but the coin flip with Jeff and Quasar, I needed to win that because I just ran out of damage. So the problem, and this is why I don't like this attack, and what I need to think of is there a better person to bring than Quasar? Because I hate this coin flip, but you do kind of need the immunity. So it's a little problematic, and I don't know if I can do this attack on bigger Daring Warrior, or not bigger Daring Warriors. I've done this attack once and it worked fine, but I won the coin flip. But maybe there's something better than Blade, but he also does percent health damage. This is where I'm thinking like maybe Mephisto instead of Blade would have been good here because he he would have killed something. But let's see how this plays out. So this is the problem, like Quasar, he hits into barrier, he literally does 0 damage. That is the problem with him winning the coin flip. So I'm already behind basically, because when Jeff goes, his special action removes barrier, so all that damage gets to go. So we do this here, clump them all together, that's fine. I decided to go with Speedball here because I feel like well, if he uses his special, they all get speed up and they start lapping whoever you bring, so I felt like let me just get Speedball out of the way and then maybe I can survive, but you know, obviously I don't. So Eclipse goes, does this. Good news is, because she's a fortifier, she's never really going to kill anyone. Now we do the Blastar special down the middle, because that will take 10% health and then do a little ping. Blade ultimate, boop. Boop, boop. So almost kills Speedball here. So I think if this was Mephisto instead of Blade, he still would have just killed this guy. But Blade also did some damage to the rest of them. So yeah, I guess I'm not sure if Mephisto would have really made this much better. The battlefield effect would have definitely been good. And actually, no, yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking through this. But anyway, then we do Thunderstrike special, and this is usually where the fight is meant to end. But you know, they're just too thick, and I lost the coin flip, so all the damage from Quasar is missing. Yeah, this was kind of doomed. And also, you know, maybe if my Thunderstrike and my Blastar were 5 diamonds, then maybe this is fine. This is just too big. Like maybe if they weren't fortifiers. So this is a good play from Killshot. You know, if you have an absolutely cracked out, maxed out Daring Warriors and their fortifier, most counters do not work. So I'm going to have to think through different attacks if Daring Warriors on offense becomes this common. If this was also Daring Warriors Blue Marvel, this would have been, whew, I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, but yeah, now it's all going to fall apart because the blind doesn't matter, it's unblockable. It didn't do too much damage, but it still hurts and it takes away all my buffs. Usually, yeah, Daredevil is kind of where you get destroyed. The good news is, though, that even though Jessica hit the worst possible clump, we did manage to get the Eclipse ultimate, which means cleanup is easy. But yeah, I honestly don't know what else I could have done here to avoid not dropping one here. Just too big of a team, and maybe there's a different fifth or that I can bring, or maybe an entirely different composition that doesn't rely on Thunderstrike and Blastar, but it's a lot of percent health damage. Symbiotes probably eat this at this point, but they're too valuable on defense for now. So yeah, I don't know that I could have not dropped an attack here, I guess. The only thing I could have maybe done in hindsight, knowing that I was going to drop one, is do a sack to eat some of their abilities, and then the next attack would just absolutely shred them, so I'd probably get a little turn bonus. But yeah, maybe next time I'll win the Jeff Quasar coin flip, but I hate relying on coin flips, so I might try to think of another composition here. Moving on to stage 3. So this is Phoenix Force, Shadow King, Songbird. This is still a tricky defense, I guess, but most folks have figured out what they need to do to make it not problematic, and usually it's Dormammu and Gwen, because Gwen will evade or dodge the Songbird ultimate, which means she gets to keep her taunt, which means you are not at risk of Magneto using his ultimate somewhere crazy. So, and I guess just to go through the rest, Dorm is here again, safety. Breaker is just Breaker because he just destroys people. And Omega Red is here because the Professor X mind control will call him in and he just hits like a truck. This is a non-Jeff composition, which is not traditional. So I don't get to pull in and do a bunch of cool things, but you'll see why it doesn't matter that much. So Songbird goes, hurts, but also the first ping is mostly guaranteed to kill Dorm, so, the rest of your team is kind of safe. Then my Breaker goes and literally one-shots the Shadow King, which is very fun to see. Then Magneto goes, so now he hits into Gwen, but she doesn't really care that much. I was debating here if I should basic, but I figured I might as well just do the special. Nobody is really at risk of dying. Then Professor X does the special on Omega Red, and this is, kind of, again, bad placement for my opponent because I get to ability block blind Phoenix for free. And with these two, I can just slow play as much as I want to. There's no risk of me doing anything where someone here would accidentally die. Maybe if the Unstable Anomaly was on her, but I would also just not hit her then. So it's not really a big deal. But we do the basic, he's gone, she does nothing. Then we do a basic with Professor X, and then she dies here, and we pause. So pretty efficient overall. Don't need Jeff here, which is good to know. Obviously my Breaker's 3 diamond because I pushed that event pretty hard, so I get to do things that maybe other Breakers can't do, but that Shadow King, even if he hadn't died there, was going to be ability blocked anyway, so honestly, not that big of a problem. Alright, so stage 4, this is where I made a mistake, and I think I could have 2-tapped this instead of making it a triple shot. So I'm not going to show the sack, but the sack is what was problematic because usually when you do this IMX sack, and my problem here was that in my head I was like, oh, I'm just going to get this one out of the way real quick and then worry about the rest of my attacks, and I didn't really think through the turn order, which is ultimately the problem. I guess I'll just show it. Usually what you want to do with an IMX sack is load them in and then pause after getting certain specific abilities out from the opposing team. The problem here, and what I didn't think of was, oh wait, I've got 50 turn meter from Cable and or Rachel, and they're not stopping that. Plus, it's not symbiotes where they've got speed stat and they go way faster. There's nothing here, so I went in thinking, oh, I'm just gonna soak the Blue Marvel ultimate and pause, and then I kind of went like, oh shit, I guess Jean goes first, and then I didn't think through it too much, but I was like, okay, I'll just take my Jean turn. The problem is though that because Thanos is here, any character that I lose will give Annihilus energy back. So I'm kind of like, should I play this out? Should I just do some damage? Basically I should have just stopped here. I needed to pause, and it's fine. I would have gotten all the energy out, but I wouldn't have given any energy back, even though I didn't get the Blue Marvel ultimate out. Because Blue Marvel ultimate isn't the end of the world, and you'll see in a bit why. But I'm like, ooh, so I'll try to rewind Annihilus to maybe get Blue Marvel, but even Beast, what is Beast's speed actually? I was expecting Blue Marvel to go there even with the rewind, but apparently, and I didn't do the math because I was in the match, Beast still goes ahead of Blue Marvel, which surprised me because I thought, okay, he's going here and I'll pause, but I took this one more turn But unfortunately at this point I'd given too much turn meter to Annihilus, and he basics, and because he happened to basic him, like he could have just basic someone else, he got 1 energy back. Whoops, where is it? Let's go the other way. He got 1 energy back, and this 1 energy is the problem, because normally he would have 1 here, I guess, because he took a turn. Well, normally he'd have 0, I guess, because he shouldn't be taking a turn. But instead he leaves this match with 2. I could have left him with 1, but you know, again, hindsight 2020. So he's far away from his ultimate, so I have a few turns to deal with. But this is also problematic because the ultimate is also coming in a turn faster. So let's go straight into the second one, and you'll see why that 1 energy is a problem, and why this could have worked, but didn't. But at least it worked well enough where I could clean it up somewhat easily, although I did get pretty spooked. So yeah, here we're gonna eat the Blue Marvel ultimate, which is fine. It's unblockable, but he doesn't hurt that hard, and also Eclipse is just gonna undo that anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I'm honestly debating, did I even need to sack at this point? Actually, no, I did need to sack because I didn't want Annihilus to open a special, obviously. So anyway, I'm like, well, this sucks. But anyway, I'm just going to go into this trio and see how we can play it out. We did get 1 vulnerable on Annihilus. Now he's taking a turn, which is fine, but he's, you know, 1 step closer to his other abilities. Emma's going to basic because she has no energy. Minerva's going to use her ultimate, which is okay, whatever. Interestingly, she was blinded and used her ultimate. I still don't understand why in other comps when she's blinded she'll just basic. Or maybe they fix something, I don't know. Anyway, then this Devourer goes, which this also kind of sucks because when the Devourer goes he gets speed bar, and that Devourer barely survives. So that was a little extra turn meter that he got. Then I used the Thrasher ultimate on Annihilus. Unfortunately, it did not crit on this guy. So I've been debating if I should make him a skirmisher to guarantee it. I don't know that it would really make a big difference though, but because I can crit here, I just left him. Then we have this guy going, and he always does a lot of damage, but now the vulnerable is gone, unfortunately. Then Speedball ultimate on Annihilus. And the reason why you do this, or why this sequence is good, because you can see Speedball goes just before Annihilus. And if he, where is he? Let's see actually. Should have gone the other way again. Okay, so if he had energy here, I would have bought myself 1 more turn, because he drops Annihilus drops debuffs on enemy turn, but I ability blocked him and then he goes, so he can't drop them. So the turn order with Daring Warriors is favorable. But anyway, he basics, so I bought myself some more time. But his next turn is going to be his ultimate at this point because of that extra energy. Where I could have gotten 1 extra turn out of it. So anyway, I'm still trying to kill this guy. My Jessica is a skirmisher just to get these 2 vulnerables on him. These other nerds are going, and also Blue Marvel being alive is, you know, obviously still a problem. But anyway, Eclipse ultimate always does really good damage. Boop. But here's the problem. Like, he should be using his basic here with offense down. And I think with the current state of the board, I can kill him. However, he does this. And this does quite a lot of damage. Doesn't kill everyone because of the offense down, luckily. But him doing this is what killed this second attack, unfortunately. So I kind of pivot my plan at this point, because I know, like, at this point, the rod's not falling off. So I need to try to kill this Blue Marvel, because if he's alive, the next attack is going to be kind of messy. Luckily, Speedball stun is really good against Blue Marvel. I still need to survive, though, for him to take a turn and bleed out or kill him. So these nerds are going, which is spooky, because, again, every time they go with their special, they give Annihilus speed bar, so I'm like, oh no, am I about to get lapped? And I mean, you can see, like, I'm not going before this Annihilus. I just need the Blue Marvel to go. And luckily, well, I say luckily, the special does go out here, which is also problematic because this means, am I walking into an ultimate Luckily he does bleed out, and I stop here because Annihilus. Because I pulled up his energy here, and basically I can't let him take another turn. If he opens with the ultimate on the next hit, I'm done. So I stopped here just so that I can have at least one turn of leeway. And that was it. And I guess let's go straight into the next one. Been talking forever for this one attack. And then just the usual Insidious 6 sack, or not sack, attack. So we'll go over this one. They're good, so just for folks that don't know, the reason why Insidious 6 are good for Annihilus cleanup is one of the only things that Annihilus is weak to is his ping can be dodged. And by ping I mean his passive thing. So if you have a team with evades, and that actually might be why the new Avenger team could be interesting too, because they think they spawn with evades. Basically, you are keeping his health in check, because his ping damage is what gives him health back. If you're dodging it, he's not getting health. So anyway, we do this. Now we do a Vulture special, and luckily all these kills are giving Vulture a lot of speed bar, so he gets to actually do his ultimate before Annihilus even gets to take a turn. So luckily we get to do this. So the rod is off now, and this is the thing I'm talking about. If he had gotten one more energy, he would have just killed me here, because he would be on his on his ultimate. So me pausing and watching the energy on that second attack was really important, because I could have failed to clear this room. Like, I should have probably 2-tapped this, but because I didn't think of the turn order on the IMX sack, I put myself in a situation where I kind of didn't clear this room, and it's not a very hard room. So I definitely could have, not definitely, I probably could have saved myself one dropped attack here. But I didn't think through it the way I should have, so here we are. But yeah, I mean, at this point it's just a cleanup, so they're gone, and we get to move on to a different room. So let's see. So stage 5, this team is definitely going to be a problem on its own. Like, what I did worked. I got some really bad RNG with just, because I don't have a pre-taunt here, or any taunt, I guess. I got some bad RNG with Riot pinging back and forth between the two weakest members, of course. So that cost me a bunch of efficiency. Also, Odin is kind of a luxury to have, but, you know, any team that doesn't really remove battlefield effects, which Odin usually does really well with. I tried a lot of different versions of this in War to see what could work. I could have definitely done something, let's say, cheaper that would have been way less efficient, because it mostly relied on Odin just carrying. So I didn't need Fantastic Four here, but I thought it would be the most efficient attack. You know, little did I know I'd get really bad RNG. So, but anyway, Franklin goes, and the assists here are really important from both Human Torch and Odin. I also made them all strikers because you can't crit, so I might as well just get the most damage. Then I do not want Quicksilver taking a turn, so I'm going to go into him. And because of his size today, he dies to the assists. Had he not died, he would have gotten a bunch of, what is it, he would have gotten Safeguard, 2 death proofs, and 1 immunity. So I'd have to keep focusing him to kill him before he takes a turn. But since he died here, I just do this. Now you might be asking, why didn't I special? It's because if Odin specials here, he immediately loses all his charges and all his buffs. The rest of them get to keep it, and that's because of this guy, actually, Toxin. His passive is, yeah, when someone uses their special ability, flip all positives to bleed, apply exposed, and then if they have exposed, which they usually will, flip all charge to bleed, apply heal block, all this stuff. So I went with the basic because I wanted damage. Like, one turn of damage, because if I special, he's not gonna swipe. And I was hoping to kill as many of them as possible before they go. Again, hindsight 2020. I don't know if maybe the special would have been better to keep the rest of them alive, but I figured I would just do more damage. Anyway, I go into Toxin now because I figured he's the next person to go, so let's see if I can kill him. I can. And then here I took a bit of a gamble too, where I'm going to use the special. The ability block was not going to stick on this guy because if he survives, Riot's just going to clear it and, give him death proof and stuff. But I figured, maybe with the special and the assist we can just kill Null. And hey, we can. So far so good. Here's the problem. This guy picked like the worst target. So he picks Oath, and then you'll see it now. Because Invisible Woman is here, he just rebound chains back and forth between these two, and they just die. So I guess maybe the safest thing to do would be to have Invisible Woman on the side, so that the Riot will chain across more characters and, leave them injured but not kill them. But again, hindsight 2020. So anyway, that cost me a whole bunch of efficiency, just that one turn. And then Venom does his ultimate, still does some damage, but that one's not the end of the world. So yeah, lost a ton of efficiency just by letting Riot take a turn, plus my positioning, I guess. This is also pretty devastating, right? Like, this is a counterattack from Venom. God damn it, I can't pull up the UI again. But his basic flips stuff, so he just immediately flipped everything, which is kind of hilarious, but it doesn't really matter because the fight ends here. So yeah, that also cost me a bit of efficiency. I think this will still work with a big Quicksilver, but I suspect everyone will die except for Odin. And there's probably a world where Odin also gets tunneled down, so I don't know if this will work, but I did it for today only. So proceed with caution if you do try this on a bigger Quicksilver. And finally, stage 6. I am not going to show this. I'm tired of this attack. I didn't really think I needed Daemon anywhere else, so I did it, and it's 2 turns, and you've seen it a billion times. I don't want to do it. So yeah, I will splice in the final score. I do have a Nihilus on defense, as you probably have realized by now, for the first time in a very long time with Symbiote 6, so hopefully my opponent fails to clear it, but there's definitely ways of clearing it. Obviously, Daring Warriors is clearly good. Well, I say obviously. Last video I showed of Daring Warriors attack that did clean this up. But again, I messed up the sack in it today. But also, he has Daring Warriors on defense, so he can't do that. So he might YOLO Insidious 6 on the second attack. I have seen that one work, and he has monster teams, so that might still work. So yeah, we'll see, but I dropped 3. Actually, what was my efficiency like in general? This one was good. This one was okay. This one was okay, I guess. A little better than okay. This one sucks, but it's a clear. This is very unfortunate. So this is like, if it comes down to efficiency, this probably is what costs me, and then this one is whatever. But anyway, let's see if we won or not. And back with the results. Unfortunately, the bad IMX sack did end up costing the round because that was an extra drop. He only dropped 2 to my 1. Had an interesting 2-shot on my Nihilus, but was also very much a product of having a 5-diamond Darkstar, which lets you do some really crazy things. But still interesting nonetheless, so GG to Killshot. I'll try an Nihilus on defense for one more round, because I didn't really have a lot of time to flip things around. But yeah, we'll see how the next one goes. See you then.